OP08 Reiju, probably one of my favorite decks right now, as well as a pretty competitive deck as well. This deck, man, it was struggling when Red or Purple Law existed, but now that Red Purple Law is banned, this deck is allowed to run free, and this deck is so much fun to play. Let's take a look at the leader here. This is Reiju. She's from OP06, 5,000 power, 4 life leader. On your turn, once per turn, when a Dawn card on your field is returned to your Dawn deck, draw 1 card. So card advantage engine right here. This card is amazing. It synergizes so well with all of the Vinsmoke family, the Germa 66 agents, to just draw tons of cards. So let's take a look at the deck list here. We've got, starting with our 2Ks, let's look at our spread here. We've got 4 of the Vinsmoke Sora. Sora is the searchable 2K in this deck, as it's Germa. Kingdom of Germa type. 1 cost, you can play it out and trash 1 card from your hand, and then if you have equal to or less Dawn than your opponent, you can add up to 1 of the Vinsmoke family type character cards with 4,000 power or less from your trash to your hand. So you can use this in an instance where you're looking for one of the unsuited characters to add to hand to be able to play out to get the suited form out. Really nice in a pinch if you really need that. Otherwise, just a nice 2K to have. Next, we've got one of the newest cards from the set here. This is Black Maria from OP08 here. Black Maria, solid choice in this deck, as now we have an option to allow us to ramp back up on Dawn, because we don't have Red Purple Law in the format anymore. There's not a lot of other decks that minus other than in the mirror match. So this is a great way to catch up on Dawn while also still getting your effects off. Really awesome play. This is something you also can put in play off Porsche as well. Just to read Black Maria real quick. 3 cost, 2,000 power, 2,000 counter. Once activate main, if you don't have any other Black Marias on the field, you add up to 5 Dawn from your Dawn deck rested, and then at the end of the turn, you return Dawn cards from your field to your Dawn deck until you have the same number of Dawn cards as your opponent does. So just a great way to catch back up on Dawn, because you're going to be minusing so much Dawn in this deck. Then we have a little split here of 2 other 2Ks. We've got 2 Kayas, so sometimes searching for your pieces is very important. This is a combo deck ultimately, so having Kaya to be able to cycle through, grab card, draws 2 cards, trash 2 cards, to potentially get some of the suit upgrades into the yard is great and help you filter. Then we also have 2 of the Foxy Pirates, just a vanilla 2K. It's searchable off of Porsche, and that's why we run it. Next, let's go into the main part of the deck. And obviously, we're playing a Reiju deck, so we need to get out the Vinsmoke family here. We've got 2 cost Reiju, 2 cost, 2,000 power, activate main, Dawn -1. If your leader's Germa 66, you play up to 1 Vinsmoke Reiju of a cost of 4 or less from your hand or your trash. And you get to put into play the 4 cost Reiju, probably one of the best draws cards in the game. 4 cost Reiju, 5,000 power, 1k counter. On play, if the number of Dawn on your field is equal to or less than your opponent's, and you have 5 or less cards in hand, you get to draw 2 cards. So the main combo in this deck is to, use this effect, which minuses 1 Dawn, play this out, and then your leader's ability also triggers, and you can stack, since those happen at the same time, you can stack them to have this effect go off first, and then your leader's ability effectively allowing you to draw 3 cards. If you have at least 5 cards in hand, or 5 cards or less in hand, which is amazing. So this deck sees a ton of card advantage for sure. Next, we're going to go to the next sibling, and this is Niji. Niji, we're running a nice little 3 and 3 split, so 3 unsuited, 3 suited. Niji puts the suited version into play. 3 cost, 1,000 counter, -1 Dawn. Get to put a Niji with a cost of 5 from my hand or trash into play, just like the little Reiju. They're all going to read pretty much the same. 5 cost Niji here, 5 cost 6,000 on play. If the number of Dawn on your field are equal to or less than your opponent's, you get to choose 1 effect, so you can either KO up to 1 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 2 or less, or return 1 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less to their owner's hand. So you can play them out, KO a small character if there's nothing else to do on board, or bounce back a 4 cost character or less. So this can bounce back like a Rebecca blocker. This can bounce back an annoying Borsalino, just a blocker in general to move things out of your way to allow you to potentially push damage or take things on the board. Then we were running one of the, outside of Reiju, this is the other best suited up card, and this is Vinsmoke Ichiji. It's a 4,000 power, 4 cost character. Allows you to put a 7 cost Ichiji from either your hand or trash into play by minusing 1 Dawn. And that is good old 7 cost EGG running 4 ofs, because you want to see this card as much as possible. He comes down, he's a 7 cost 7,000 on play. If the number of your Dawn is equal to or less than your opponent's, you can give a character minus 2,000 power during this turn, and then this character gains rush. So this is a great way to clear characters, but also just push damage, because it is a 7 cost 7,000 power rush character. Really, really amazing card, and you can play it as early as your second turn with Vinsmoke EGG. Then, to kind of spearhead the final part of the family here, we've got Vinsmoke Judge. This is our this is a potential win condition. This is you know, the Reiju's Gecko Moria. 8 cost 8,000 power. Dawn, or on play, Dawn -1. Then you may trash 2 cards from your hand. Play up to 4 Germa 66 type character cards with different card names and 4,000 power or less from your trash. And then you can also activate main Dawn -1, rest up to 1 of your opponent's Dawn cards. That effect is not as useful. You really want to play this down using something like Black Maria to keep your Dawn up. You can play this down and then just put every unsuited character into play, and then suit them all up, right? And just like fill a huge board. This is an amazing card to play and see. One of the biggest combos in this deck coming out of OP07 is Portia. So Portia is a Foxy Pirates card. What's a Foxy Pirates card doing in this deck? Well, basically what it allows you to do is it's 3 cost 5,000, no counter, but on play, Dawn -1. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck, grab a Foxy Pirates card, add it to your hand. Then you can play up to 1 purple character card with 4,000 power or less from your hand. So if you're going first or second, on your second turn, you can play down a Portia -1 Dawn, and then play out something like a 4 cost EGG. And then if you have the 7 cost either in your hand or in the trash, you can immediately get that out. So on your second turn, you can have a 7,000 rush, which is very, very strong, as well as a 5,000 body on board. Like I said, this is our searcher for Foxy Pirates, so having that 2k is very important, but this card is a must-have to establish a very early board presence. Another searchable target is the 2 cost Chopper. This is a 2 cost 0 power 1,000 counter character with blocker. That's the biggest part. And then on play, if you have equal to or less Dawn than your opponent, you can add a Dawn. So this is a way to kind of ramp back up if you need to. Ultimately, the best part about this card is it's searchable off Porsche, it's playable off Porsche, and it's a blocker. So it's cheap blocker that you can play out to stay alive and gum up the board a little bit if you're not in an advantageous spot. Then I'm running, and now you can kind of change up the ratios if you want. I like to run 4 choppers and 1 pudding. This deck draws so many cards that you're often going to see the pudding. And you don't really need pudding for every matchup, so I didn't want to clog up too much space for pudding. Then the final cards of the deck, we've got 2 of these searchers. So this is a 1 cost searcher, looks at the top 5 cards of your deck, grabs a Germa card other than this card, and adds it to your hand. Also, it's a trigger of draw 1 card. So this helps you find some of your combo pieces. This is one way you can do that. And then finally, the main way to find your combo pieces is through the stage here. 1 cost stage, activate main, trash 1 card from hand and rest this stage. Look at the top 3 cards, add 1 card with the type, including Germa, to your hand, then place the rest on the bottom. So this allows you to find all your characters, your suited and unsuited characters, really easily, and you can do this every single turn with the cost of 1 card. This card is a must-have. If you see this in an opening hand, you're likely going to keep that hand here because this card is very, very strong at finding all the pieces. Ultimately, again, this is a combo deck, so having a searcher for your combo pieces, very, very strong. I think this deck is really strong. I think this deck struggles maybe a little bit into heavy removal decks, but if you can surprise black really fast and get some 7 costs out there, they have a little bit of trouble with it early in the game. So ultimately, this deck can go really fast, but also play really defensively because of the amount of cards that you draw and just like being able to just like throw out a blocker and stuff. But this deck can fill up the board really fast. It's a super fun combo deck, so if you like this kind of stuff, definitely try it out. With that in mind, if you enjoyed this type of content, please subscribe and like the video if you want to see more of these types of deck lists, as well as comment if you've tried out this list and then tell me how you did. With that in mind, have a good day.